Okay, today we speak to Matsuura Machinery's Additive Manufacturing Manager, Peter Harris. In May 2022, Matsuura opened a brand new Additive Manufacturing Centre at its Leicestershire HQ, right next to its CNC machine tool operation. From April 25th to 26th this month, Matsuura will hold an additive manufacturing event called Concept to Component to help people understand why UK manufacturers investing heavily in the HP 3D printing that Matsuura supplies. It's been run with event partners Materialise and Dimension. So first of all, Peter, thank you first of all for joining us today. And obviously you're holding this AM event Concept to Component on the 25th to 26th. I just wonder first of all, what can visitors expect from this, and what is the aim of the event and benefits of attending for companies?
I think what we're trying to do is reach a wider audience with the HP technologies. We're still finding we're educating. It's surprising after 4 years of a mature product that we're still finding customers out there don't know what additive can do. And HP is now a really mature technology. So what we're hoping for is for people to come visit, people that have not essentially been printing additively at the moment, people that want to see where plastic has become. So we just want to bring anybody and everybody past the technologies. We'll have it entirely working literally from printing to post-processing. We'll have our partners Dimension and Materialise here because they fit really well hand in hand with HP technology. So we want to share the word. I think we were finished educating the market, but clearly with the Additive Centre being open, the more we get visitors, the more we're still having to educate people.
And obviously the AM Centre that you opened nearly 12 months ago now, how successful has it been, and has it kind of met your expectations and targets, and is there any maybe plans to expand it a little bit?
No plans to expand. We've very much gone off the success of HP. We've had brands join us like Desktop Metal. Initially we took on Dimension very quickly for HP, and obviously Desktop Metal joining us with the E-Tech brand as well, and then more recently Robos as a technology as well. So we feel we've got a little bit of an offering from each of the potential technologies, enough so that we can show people the alternatives. We may not always have the exact technology they need, but what we have is a good cross-section now. And for us to keep doing and keep selling the technology the way we sell technology, with our support and our ambition and the way that we use the printers first, we can't keep doing that. So we feel we've reached a point where we have enough technologies to give people the alternatives without being a jack of all trades, just selling every printer of every price point. That's not possible to keep doing it the way we do it.
So you're very happy with your portfolio you're offering at the moment, aren't you? And obviously, I suppose there's been different demand for different systems, especially HP, I guess.
Yes, and I think the more we've had now, the sort of the 4 brands within the centre, we're realising that somebody may coming in looking at metal and they've got no idea about plastic, and we've got plastic inquiries. So the cross section of technologies are giving us the challenge, but we need people to come through. And I think we thought we were opening a new showroom, and I think we have achieved that. But I think what we're having to realise is we've done more than that. We've actually opened an additive centre, very much a technical centre. The feedback we're getting from the people that do come and visit is they're gobsmacked with the fact that we've got such an array of technologies. And we've also now got our own Matsuura machine, the Lumex, as well installed. So we've put our own additive technology into that space now as well, that gives us that crossover to the Matsuura side. So what we're finding is a very, very positive experience, that everybody that comes through the door is sent away with their head spinning with all the potentials that they're just not aware of where additive has become. And that's why I think the event on the 25th, 26th of April is very much thinking about now a broader spread of the people that we want to try and attract in, because it's an endless possibility from what we're seeing from visitors, and they can be the most large international companies that you would expect to be, experts in their own fields, are not aware. They don't believe you can make watertight, pressure-tight parts to a high-end final use, and they still think we're in a prototyping era. So we spent many of our first 2 years educating people, saying, yeah, plastic parts are not just for prototypes, and trying to show people how strong they are, that they can be used for final parts. And we thought that journey was done, and we were in a position where we could promote and sell. But the more we've got more technologies, the more it feels we're still very much in an education phase where we need the people through the door to see the technology side by side, for them to go away and then see how they can adapt this into their business. And I think for everybody, if they don't consider what additive can do for them, I think they can fail. If additive is not for them, and that is the case a lot of the time, that they've come in and they go, yeah, but you're now making it the best way. If you've designed it for that way and it looks like you should be able to machine it, you probably are making it the best way. But considering how additive then can sit alongside those traditional technologies, if it works, great. If it doesn't, move on. But there are a lot of people still haven't looked. We're finding that a lot.
And have you seen a kind of positivity in the market, though? More manufacturers are, looking to invest in AM systems. Are you seeing that kind of that desire to invest, to look at a new technology like AM, into their production?
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen HP in the 4 years we've had them now go from absolutely low volume prototyping, now to over 75 installed. And people are surprised when we say probably half of those machines now are printing production parts. That's a big change around from several years ago. So with HP, it's very much, there's a proven track record there now. And that's what we're trying to educate people with next month. It's very much showing them, 25th, 26th April. So it's not next month, it's 2 weeks away. Yeah, what we're trying to show people is quite where HP's come in that time, because that is what we're finding. That's our challenge. That's the challenge for our sales guys, because if people are not aware, they're not going to know how to take this technology into the business when it already is proven. With things like desktop metal, I think we're in that earlier stage with metal. I think people that are looking are not essentially looking at going straight into serial production. They're looking at our facility here and going, yeah, do you know what? It's about time we had metal manufacturing. And so different technologies are at different phases. Metal is very much at an earlier stage where it is more development based, more universities, where HP as a mature technology is already in there in top tier companies. And that's the message we're trying to get across. And it still seems as though we need to carry on doing it.
And obviously it's bringing quite a lot of benefits and opportunities obviously to them, isn't it? When they're, investing in these AM systems now, obviously when the fit is right. Is there anything particular that sort of have you found that, particular benefits that it's bringing to organizations?
No, not one particular. I think we've had to long go away from the stereotype of assuming we know what people are going to make. We know what industries we're going to go into. We've honestly we've broken the mold on that now. It is so broad. It is simply that people don't understand where the technologies have become. And that's what they get when they come here, because they can see where the technologies become. They can go back to their own businesses. And it may be fixtures, jigs for one company. It might be that they didn't realize that you could make watertight, pressure-tight parts that could be used under the water in sea. They just don't understand that, wow, you can do that. And you went, yeah. Yesterday, we had the same thing. Customers come in and you ask a couple of questions. And when you say, yeah, 20 bar and we can go under the sea and we can be used to pump water, and they go, well, no, you can't do that with a printed part. So every company that walks through is incredibly different. Every company, when they allow you to work with them, make them parts, this is what we love doing here anyway, and you let those parts into the organization. Honestly, the customers we've got now, they're teaching us. They're finding uses, and for the technology that we've not thought of. Every individual customer follows a journey.
And I guess the number of applications is growing all the time, isn't it? Across different sectors, different markets, isn't it? Whether it's aerospace, medical, etc., etc. It's growing all the time, isn't it?
We stopped saying, because yes, if you'd have asked us a few years ago, you're right, we'd have said aerospace, we'd have said medical, we'd have said a little bit of jigs and fixtures. But now we've got everything from the automotive, we've got people in the food, we've got people in the medical, people in making automation, people making decorative items, making high-priced gifts, packaging. It's honestly, yeah, it is so diverse now how the technology is being applied. Some of the things we print, you just would not have credited a few years ago.
And the market, the AM market is projected to really grow, isn't it, in the future? I guess it's very exciting, the future of it, isn't it, really, where the opportunities in the future are going to be huge, aren't they?
I think so, and I think that's part of the reason why we started the journey of additive, is because yes, we know the machine tool market will always be strong, but in times of when we know in more difficult economic times we may see a slowing of the machine tool market, additive, even in probably at times of recession, will still be a growing market. And we're seeing that. We've gone from 2 or 3 million to 7 or 8 million to potentially now 10 million as an additive centre turnover. So we're seeing that additive, we can sustain that through a more difficult period that potentially is coming up, and we can carry that growth on. It supports the machine tool business. And
how has that worked in tandem with your CNC, your machine tool business? Obviously, having that next to each other, customers, I guess. Do you have the same customers, or do you sometimes, is it work a little bit together? Is it a bit separate, or how does that work?
When we started with HP in plastic only, we expected there to be some crossover. In fact, there was probably one customer in 75. We had to go out and find new markets, new customers, and we were not selling into anything to do with the Matsuura machine tool market. So it became and grew to be a completely separate business. With the addition now of metals, desktop metal, and potentially even robots into some of the higher temperature materials like peak, carbon peak, we are seeing that interest change. We're seeing more of an interest from people coming through from the machine tool side. We're seeing machine tool customers coming through who maybe are not ready to make final parts, but they're actually looking at what we're doing here and going, well, it's time that we do this now within our business. We have metal, we have plastic printing, we have some high temp materials printing. So that interest is definitely changing more now as we bring on other products. And yes, everybody from the Matsuura side comes through to this side and vice versa, because very much, we want people to cross over in technologies. But definitely the interest is now there for people to want to come through to the additive side.
And obviously Matsuura's got such a strong history of great support and service, hasn't it? Customer, I guess that's can be applied to your AM centre as well, can't it? It's not just a sell a machine and off you go kind of thing, which is with a machine tool, it's never like that. It's always, you're there for them the whole time, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest challenge that we have in the additive side. I've had 20 years on the Matsuura side, working in the sort of the design and the spare parts and the purchasing side of the business. So I know the Matsuura ethos is, customers number one. When you're spending £250,000, £500,000, you want to know that that asset's going to be running. You want to know that it's working for you. And the additive technologies that we've taken on board, they don't know what's hit them when we start working with them, because yes, our expectations and our demands is that we use the equipment first and foremost. We know how to use the technologies, but then we know how to support it. So that yes, when somebody's spending that amount of money, and that's why in 4 years of HP, we've gone from 4 resellers to 1. And that's not because the product is good, but what we're doing is we're bringing a different approach to using it and promoting the technology. everybody who's taking on the technology is making sure that they're getting the best out of it. And as we go to desktop metal and to robots, we're not changing that ethos. We want to make sure that when the customers come through here, they understand that first and foremost, we're users of the equipment we get. And we will do that with each of the technologies. We'll make sure we have spare parts, we have the training to make sure that these customers can keep running these printers. It's the only way that I know. It very much is the Matsuura way. You said we have an incredible high reputation for Matsuura for support, and we have to think very, very carefully on every product that we sell. Can we either deliver that immediately, or can we provide the level of service needs to support that technology? And that certainly is the biggest challenge that I face dealing with all the new manufacturers.
Yeah, because obviously the reputation of Matsuura, you've got to keep that, what you're known for, isn't it? And you want to maintain those high standards, don't you? Which you've been known for years for, isn't it? Even in AM, it's so important, isn't it?
It's number one. We are still owned by Matsuura. Mr. Matsuura is still our president. We're still a Matsuura company. The Matsuura machine is still the biggest priority we have to sell because it's what puts the bread on the table. The additive very much is bringing a side revenue, but an ever-growing good revenue. And you're right, the first thing we have to think on is that we have to maintain that Matsuura reputation. And that's why we drive these newer manufacturers to achieve what we want. And I think that's why we're having such success, because we're not just simply selling boxes, and I think a lot of people who sell bigger additive they may have come from a 2D background, from a desktop background. We've kind of gone in reverse. We've sold high value machine tools with high return on investment, and we're kind of going back into additive, and we're selling it the same way. And they want to know they're buying it from people that can support them, that they can trust. And then when they know that it's right for them, because I don't want somebody buying anything if it's not right for them, because what we want is we want that second order, we want the third order, we want that installation to be right from the day go. So yeah, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to make sure that when we do deliver, we do install, it's right, but mainly they can guarantee that they can keep getting the support.
And lastly, obviously, so it's just really exciting, the event in a week or two's time, and obviously the future of the Matsuura AM centres, also very exciting, isn't it, for the future?
Yeah, it's a challenging time for us, for me, because obviously clearly now we know that we just need to bring people to the facility. We're more and more, we're getting told what a facility we've got. What we need to do now is find all those ways to bring people in. So yeah, 25th, 26th, usually in a couple of weeks' time, is the first of one of the occasions where we're going to very much focus on one particular technology with with a couple of our partners that very much will go hand in hand with that technology. And it'd be nice in the future that we repeat that with other technologies where we do particular technology focus days. But it is a challenge to get people out to visit, to come through the doors. What we know is if we can do that, we can send them away with certainly a lot more answers than they came with. A lot more answers than the questions they want to walk through the door with, because it's an unbelievable journey that we're seeing everybody going on, and it's just finding the right reasons now to bring people through the door.
Absolutely, and obviously that will lead to more good discussions, and you're learning more, and they're learning more, isn't it? So it's a whole. The more people that come and talk about their their plans and things like that, and how you talk about how I am, it gives you more information, doesn't it, and more knowledge, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's the education that we're getting by having more and more customers, the things that they're doing, challenging us with things that they're challenging the technologies with. And then every different customer who walks through the door comes in with a different expectation, a different challenge. And what we're just looking for is the opportunity to show that technology, showcase those products to new people. And it may not be right for them, but what they'll know when they leave is whether it is right or wrong for them as a technology, whether the additive is right for their business. It is still common that people come in and go, I want to make this additively. And when you say, well, it looks like a piece of sheet metal that's been laser cut, so it's not really going to be any cheaper. In fact, it's going to be more expensive. And yeah, we spend a lot of time telling people that, yeah, you know, the expectations, additive is not a cure for everything. It's a complementary technology to many different ways of manufacturing, but getting people to consider additive, whether additives would right for them, getting them in to show them the possibilities is certainly still a challenge. Good challenge.
Brilliant, thank you very much, and thanks for talking to us today, Peter. That's really interesting, and we'll look forward to hopefully be a very successful event, and catching up again sometime. Thank you very much. Cheers, Peter.